So you know I'm Hugh Keynes, and you know I'm General Manager at Clean River Recycling Solutions. I've been in leadership for 29 years. I've worked in Canada and the U.S., large corporation, and now I spent the last 8 years at an entrepreneurial business in Aurora. Okay, so I thought, hey, why not bring something? So we have what we call a swag bag. So when employees join our company on the first day, we give them company paraphernalia. And I thought, you know what, hey, why don't I bring that for this group? So it's leather binder, it's a litterless lunch bag because we're a sustainable company. It's a steel straw because we don't like plastic straws. We've got a coffee mug there, thermos, as well as we always give them a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And there's a mini bin in there as well. So we've got a bin that Al's going to hand around. Put your business card in it if you're interested, and we'll draw in there at the end, and you can take that swag bag home with you. So Al, are we ready to go?
We're ready to go.
Okay, so I can just push the button and start moving the slides. So I'm here today to talk about recruiting for fit, and I'm going to talk about it in the context of Clean River, which is what I know. I hope it comes across the way I intend. It really is to give you some information, and if you can take away one thing from the day, then I think I've done a good job. And so I hope I'm not coming across as boastful. That's not my intent. I'm very proud of our company. I'm very proud of our employees in our company, and I'm very impressed with some of the cool things we do. I feel I should be talking about cannabis because everyone else is talking about cannabis, but we talk about it internally a lot. This doesn't show as well, previous to the other speaker, but I know it well, so I'll talk about it. So I want to talk about recruiting for fit, and even put a little spin on that. Not only fit, but enhancement. You want to bring in talent that's going to enhance the culture of your company. And we look at it in the context of a tree. So you've got to have a strong root, and the root is your culture. And from a Clean River perspective, we look at it as you want a culture where it's respectful, it's a culture based on trust, you want to have a learning culture, and you want to have that continuous improvement mindset. The trunk of the tree, and this is an area where I would say I don't think companies pay as much attention to as they should. And we try to do more and more of this. The trunk of that tree is your leadership. It's their actions and behaviors. Helping your leaders understand what they do and what they say. And as much as important as that is what they don't do and what they don't say. Because your employees do pay attention to everything you do and say and don't do and say as a leader. And I'll give you an example of that, especially nowadays. We talk about Me Too movement. You're at a company event, everyone's relaxed, you're having a glass of wine, everyone's, joking around, and someone makes some type of a sexual comment to another employee. Some people laugh at it, and another, you get some nervous laughter. The leader's there. The leader doesn't say anything. What does that say about your company culture? So, getting on to, I can talk a lot more about this because I'm very passionate about this. We spend a lot of time training our leaders on what we expect from them to model the behaviors to support and enhance our culture. And we audit our leaders as well. And for those HR professionals in the room, I truly look at HR from a business leadership, business ownership perspective as your partner. Because your employees really are your best asset. The branches of our tree really are the processes within our organization that support getting that cultural fit and enhancing our culture. And then the leaves on that tree are all the tools, the initiatives, the tasks that you do. And I'm going to touch base on some of those as we go through the morning. So my focus in my talk today, and I should say I've got, for the HR professionals in the room, I think you'll get those two, I guess memes we call them now. You can relate to them. So again, the focus on my talk today is going to be on the first branch that I had there. And so, we talk about branches from our perspective. It's recruiting, it's onboarding, it's training and development, it's succession planning, it's your social activities. So I'm going to spend the main part of my talk will be on the recruiting process, and I want to touch a little bit on onboarding because I'm pretty impressed with what our team does on onboarding. The swag bag is one of many things we do. So let me talk about recruiting, current. We look at recruiting, and it's a two-way street. As important as it is for us to recruit for fit and enhance our culture, we also have to pay attention. It's important to make sure that individual that we're talking to, they feel we are a fit for them. So from our perspective, we pay a lot of attention to being as transparent as possible during the recruitment process. We encourage them to ask questions about our organization, and we share information. One of the things we put in place about a year ago, which I really like, is we have a peer lunch. So we have 2 employees from different departments take a potential candidate, shortlist a candidate, out for lunch. No agenda. It's the opportunity for that potential candidate to ask any questions they want about the company. What's the manager like if I get hired? Are they a micromanager? What's your culture like? What do you like? What don't you like? What we ask of those employees that come back is give us some feedback on, do you think they're a fit or not a fit, why and why not? This is not a go, no-go, but it's another piece of information for us to make sure we make the most informed decision when we go to recruit. Our process, and I'll touch base on it relatively quickly, and if you have any questions later, I can get into it. Jennifer's here with me. Jennifer's our senior manager of HR. She's more than willing to answer questions as well. Some of the stuff I think is very traditional, but there's some unique things I'd like to share with you. So we go through resumes like everyone else. You're always looking for results in a resume, right? Top talent, successful people, they want to share it. If you don't see results in a resume, it may be a flag. We do phone interviews. Phone interviews usually last 15 to 20 minutes. People get through the phone interview, they come in for a in-house interview. When they come in, the way it's structured is typically 2 people interviewing them, sometimes 3, but most of the time 2. The hiring manager's focus. Their focus is on the technical skills, the fit skills you require, as well as a connection with them and their team. The HR person's role is to look at from a cultural fit perspective, but also observe the hiring manager. Do they have any unconscious bias that may prevent us from hiring top talent? So we're always looking at auditing, coaching our leaders. We have what's called interview guides created for every role. And the way that it's structured, it's a STAR process. So when we ask questions, it's structured as, give me an example, what was the task, what was the action you took, and the result you got. I'm sure some of you are familiar with that process. As individuals get through that process, and it could seem lengthy, we have online assessments. It's usually about an hour long to fill it out. We don't look at it as a go, no-go. Haven't found an assessment system to tell us they're that accurate, and people can, depending on how they're feeling and how they fill it out and everything else, can impact that. So we use it more as a probing to see where the system is telling us from a thinking style as well as behavioral traits, and how their profile fit with the profile of the role. We don't just bring them back to talk about that assessment, so this is where our process varies a little bit. If it's marketing, we'll bring them in and we'll have them do a presentation on, we'll send them some information on a campaign we're doing. And we'll have them do a presentation and share some marketing collateral to support the campaign. If it's a salesperson, we'll bring them in, we'll have them do role playing, television, or a telephone conversation with a potential client. And while they're in, we'll probe a little bit more on the assessment that we did. One of the cool things we've put in place about 6 months ago, which I really like, is for more senior positions, we take them out to dinner. So that role is so critical to the business. We find having them in a relaxed environment, we're in a relaxed environment, you're having a nice meal, whatever beverage you prefer, people open up. You really get to know each other. Again, it's another piece of the puzzle to help us make sure we make the most informed decision, as well as that candidate make sure they make the most informed decision for them. As you saw earlier, people, within the first 6 months decide if they're going to stay or not. We're always asking for feedback on our process. So one of the pieces of feedback we've gotten is it can be lengthy. So the way we try to work around that, or manage through that, is we try to manage their expectations. So we let them know the stage they're at and what the next stage would be and the timing of what that next stage would be. We do departmental meet and greets with candidates, typically facilitated by HR. Non-structured, it's another piece of data. Not everyone has been trained on interviewing, so we want to make sure we manage that and handle that properly. So I want to give you a couple examples which I think will give you a sense of when I talk about what we do within the company and how we approach recruiting and how we approach building the culture we want to have and hiring people that want to answer our culture. So the first example, really quick, I call this status quo or breaking the mold. So imagine you've got this, you know, we're a 44-person company. Some departments are 2 or 3 people. Some departments obviously are bigger. You lose a top talent in your department. The manager obviously has got to help pick up some of that slack. That's just the reality of life in an entrepreneurial business. So there's some pressure there. She shortlisted a candidate. The candidate checks all the boxes for the role. They're a career, what we call career employee. They love what they do, they're good at what they do, but they don't seem to have ambition to go to the next level. She just shortlisted another candidate. This candidate doesn't check all the boxes. Checks most of them. Ramp up curve is 1 to 3 months. Shows a lot of initiative, a lot of energy. Seems like a good work ethic and a good attitude. Feedback is, would probably challenge the manager. Because they're ambitious, they want to take on more responsibilities. They may not be ready for it. They may want the manager's role in 2 or 3 years. The manager has a decision to make. Think about your business. Think about your leaders in your business. What decision would they make based on those 2 choices? Which way would they go? The decision our manager made, she came to me the next morning. I want to hire the one that's got a longer ramp-up curve. She may want my job in 2 or 3 years, but I think this is the best thing for the business. A year and a half later, I've been leading people for 29 years, and I will tell you this was one of the best hires we've ever made. So I'm proud of that individual, and she has enhanced our culture. Just as proud of the manager. The manager understood and does what's best for the business. The manager understood the best way for her to get promoted is to bring in someone that can step into her shoes and train them to step into her shoes. That's the kind of culture we want. Another story for you, really quick. I call this the house of cards. Here's the situation. Our senior manager of HR is doing a phone interview for an inside sales, account sales position. Gets off the phone, comes to me. I think this person would actually fit in this leadership position that we have here. Because of his breadth of knowledge and experience, he can help another part of our business. Here's why I call it the house of cards. The person that's in that position that she wants to move him into, we consider top talent. I consider him the future of the company. We don't have an open role for the move this individual into. We do have a position coming up in a couple months because we budgeted in our new fiscal year. So here's the way it all plays out. She's got to convince the manager of that area that's going to have an open position that that leader is a good fit for her position. She's got to convince the manager to give up top talent, the leader that he has, to move to another part of the business to bring in an unproven talent. Obviously, we'll go through our recruiting process. Everyone needs to feel comfortable, so you're dealing with two people, a leader, a recruit, you're dealing with 2 managers, and you're dealing with 2 departments. 3.5 months later, because this truly is a great the story, the leader, once we talked to them, was looking for a challenge. The leader wasn't hung up that he's moving into a non-leadership role. He's excited about the opportunity. He's been in the area for over 3.5 months, and he's loving what he's doing. The team loves working with him, and the manager's excited about what's happening in his area. The leader that gave up the top performing employee is excited because the recruit that we brought in is already hitting the ground running. His team loves him. He's making improvements in his area, and he's also making improvements in the other area. So we have a win for the employees, a win for the 2 managers in 2 areas, and a win for the company. The reason why I tell you the story and what excites me so much, because it stressed me at the time, quite frankly, you want to do all these changes. There's a house of cards. If you don't do this right, there could be some issues there. What excites me is our senior HR director saw beyond just a recruit and saw the possibility of growing and enhancing our culture and growing and enhancing our business. These are the type of leaders we want to have in our business. Real quick, this is an eye chart. I'm just going to spend a few minutes on it. Ties into our swag bag. So I want you to imagine you're a new employee starting at Clean River, and just think back to when you're starting a new job, your first day. It's 8:15 in the morning. Your day starts at 8:30. So think about the anxiety, the excitement, the energy, your emotions. You get out of your car, you walk to the door. You look up and your manager's there, and your manager opens the door and greets you. Your manager takes you into the boardroom, and your favorite beverage and your favorite snack is sitting on the table, as well as hers. First reaction is usually, how in the heck did you find that out? We give you this onboarding schedule. On the left-hand side is what your day looks like. It's all planned out for you. On the right-hand side is what your next 2 weeks will look like. You'll spend at least an hour with each leader in the company. It's a very relaxed, informal environment. After breakfast, the manager takes you around and introduces you to everyone in the company. Again, 44 people. She brings you back to your desk. Your laptop is there and it's personalized, ready to go. It's all set up. Your phone is set up, ready to go. You open your drawers and all your office supplies are already there. Your business cards are there with your title on it. You look on your floor and your swag bag is there. That's just the start of the day. The reason I tell you, and this really isn't to boast, the point I want to get across is you spend so much time and energy and cost to recruit. Why not take the time and energy to make sure you started it right that first day? You want to create those wow moments. Think about great experience and think about bad experience. What's the difference? You feel valued, you feel appreciated, you feel respected. You feel cared about. There's a lot more I can share with you on this, but I don't want to take up too much time. To wrap it up, I truly believe passionately the greatest thing you can do as a leader is hire the right people, train them and develop them, and help them become successful. And if you do a good job of that, you will deliver world-class customer experiences. And if you deliver world-class customer experiences, your business will thrive and your business will grow. Thank you.